my name is Stephanie Knoll, and the research topic that I chose was how balance training can reduce the risk of falling in people with Parkinson's disease. So the goal of this project was to emphasize the importance of incorporating balance training into rock steady boxing, which is the class for Parkinson's disease patients, as well as just in their general routine. Why did I choose this topic and why did I choose this goal? So when I first entered this internship, they told me that I was going to be taking a rock steady boxing certification along with the class, and that would prepare me to be able to teach a rock steady boxing class for people with Parkinson's disease on my own. So after I took the certification and I was looking through different articles of what is the most crucial point of adding into the Parkinson's class other than the boxing, and making sure that it's enjoyable and making sure that they are having that social aspect that they miss with people with Parkinson's, I found that balance was a very crucial part, because that is one of the motor skills they lose. They lose their mobility, their balance, their gait. So incorporating that combined with strength exercises and boxing will help them improve or at least maintain their quality of life and assist with them helping them not regress. So let's talk about in the beginning, Parkinson's patients. So common symptoms for Parkinson's patients are the tremor, the bradykinesia, which is their slowness of movement, the limb rigidity, which is the muscle stiffness that they get, and then their gait and balance issues. So people with Parkinson's disease are prone to falling. Why? Because fall-related issues do end up relating to their motor skills. So the motor symptoms that they have are the stiff muscles, the freezing of their limbs, and their balance impairment, which ultimately results into their postural instability, and that can cause them to fall. So after my research, I realized that exercise is a vital component to maintaining their balance, their mobility, as well as just to improve their activities of daily life. And the research study that I had was primarily focusing on correlating the implementing of the balance training along with all the other aspects that are in the rock steady boxing into their daily routine. So let's talk about balance. So after my research, through my literature that I read, I found these statistics were the most important to support that the research that I was doing was correct, that improving or focusing on improving their balance or at least maintaining it is beneficial to them for their daily living, their activities of daily living. So what I found in the research is 21% of Parkinson's patients fall within their first 3 months of diagnosis, as well as 68% of people living with Parkinson's disease fall at least one time a year. So the evidence from the reviews that I read support that implementing balance has improved or helped 68 to 80% of these patients. So my project layout. So basically, what I needed to complete this study, I needed the Parkinson's patients, the class setting, so the weights, the resistance bands, the cones, the steps, the chairs, everything I used to incorporate the balance exercises into the class, as well as everything else to run the class. As well as I needed the internet for my research and the advanced instructor, as well as my supervisor to help guide me in the beginning when creating my classes. So my starting phase. So the starting phase I had was to gain as much knowledge as I can, finish the certification, as well as research which specific exercises have been studied and implemented into people with Parkinson's that has helped them improve their balance. So my implementation phase. During this phase, I ran the Rock City boxing classes and I implemented balance-specific training while continuing with the Rock City boxing guidelines that I was given when doing the certification. And I was implementing drills, these balance exercises, which I'm going to show a video after because unfortunately, the Parkinson's patients that I were working with specifically didn't feel comfortable with being in the video. So I made a separate video to show the exercises in that setting that I do the Rock City boxing class in. So exercises such as calf raises, sit to stands, lunges, a ball toss, speed and agility exercises, any exercise that they have to gain back their balance on their feet will help them improve their balance, as well as combining it with strength drills. And then my ending phase was to have a final survey of how many people have fallen throughout the time that I did the research. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we did have restrictions and we did end up not having the class for a long enough period for me to get this data that I originally wanted to. So how I did it instead is I went and got the participation feedback of how they felt that the exercises that I implemented through their workouts helped them or made them feel, or how they feel like they can improve going forward in using these exercises. So my participation feedback of the different balance exercises that I implemented was that it helped build their confidence on activities of their daily living. Such, for example, one of the clients has a fear of walking on curbs because of her balance, and she feels like incorporating balance exercises gives her the confidence to walk over the curb if she needs to and not have to walk all the way around. They emphasized that it doesn't so much improve it, but they think that it maintains it. So they think, from what they said to me, is that they don't feel like they can improve anymore because of where they're at, but they feel like if they maintain where they are, they'll be happy and satisfied with their life. And they think that combining both strength and balance gives them time to rest after the strength exercise and be able to do their balance and regain their breath and be able to move on with the program. When coming up with exercises to implement into the balance training program for the Parkinson's patients, I took into consideration the studies that I read, as well as exercises that I thought would help improve or maintain their balance and coordination, as well as improve their activities of daily living. After talking with the clients that I've been working with, unfortunately, they didn't want to be in the video due to confidentiality. They just didn't feel comfortable with it. So I am going to go ahead and demonstrate some exercises that I put into the programs I created and that I thought helped them. And from their feedback, they thought that were very beneficial to them. So certain exercises such as lunges, step-ups, sit to stand, and balance training exercises are the exercises that I'm going to be performing. So we have step-ups, and to progress, you can add a knee drive, up, up, up. Next exercise would be a sit to stand. Next exercise is a balance slide. So I have in the front, side, and back, and then switch, front, side, and back. Another exercise that kind of mimics that is lunges. So we can have them lunge forward, to the side, and back. And then another exercise, last one would be calf raises. As a reflection of my project, as well as throughout the whole semester for my internship, a conclusion from my research is, from the research I gathered and the participant feedback that I received, I believe that implementing balance training helps maintain or improve the balance, coordination, and agility of a Parkinson's patient, and just in general helps their activities of daily living, which is the most important thing. Reflection of my project and what went right. I believe that my project the parts of my project that went right was the relationship that I built with these patients. So going in and having to redo the assessment. So basically, because of COVID-19, we had to reassess every single person that came in because they had a couple months off, and we wanted to make sure that they were still on the appropriate level for them. So having that opportunity to be in the assessment with them, I was able to gain information on what their limitations were, what their main symptoms were, because everyone's symptoms are different in Parkinson's patients. And it helped me create a relationship with them. So I was able to take my relationships that I built with them and make the exercises that were appropriate for them, knowing the modifications that they were gonna need and already having them set up for them, really encourage them to continue to work hard, and as well as take part into the balance training that I did, even though it was a little different than what their normal classes are like, because every instructor has a different style. What went wrong throughout the project was, unfortunately, the timing I had. So because of COVID-19, I didn't start my project early enough. We were doing private sessions with these Parkinson's patients, which I probably should have started with them, but because I wanted to do it as a group setting into the Rock Steady Boxing class like I had planned, I didn't end up having enough time. So I ended up having to rely on their feedback versus the data I was going to collect of their amount of falls. What is in the future? So for the future, I hope that implementing balance training, and they want to continue to add these balancing exercises that I give them at their house if they aren't able to come to the Rock Steady Boxing class. I want them to be able to feel comfortable with incorporating these balance exercises, as well as taking the extra steps, such as taking the curb and feeling confident to walk over it, or walking down a sidewalk without their cane if they feel like they need it. So not relying on their crutch, but being confident with who they are. What would I do differently? Like I said before, with what went wrong, I would have started my research data with the individuals and then eventually put it into the group setting. Because I didn't know when the group setting was starting, I kind of was at a standstill. So I would have probably started it earlier and in a different way. So now for my reflection of my internship, what went right? I feel like this Rock Steady Boxing class drove my confidence. I was able to run the class, feel confident, have a relationship with the clients, which is, I think, one of the most important things, other than knowing the form, keeping them safe, and knowing their limitations. So something that went right in this internship with me was I was able to build my confidence and in my terms that I wanted to, because I came in and we didn't have that beginning semester. So we had half of spring semester and no summer semester with the hands-on experience. And me personally, I work best with hands-on experience. So being able to get that internship view, working with the instructors and having that hands-on experience really boosted my confidence. Another thing that went right was the instructors and the camaraderie that I saw between them. So knowing how confident they are in each other, to be able to trust them if they were to go away and they were to have one of their clients work with someone else. So the camaraderie I learned and observed, as well as their willingness to let me do. So after the first couple weeks, I was queuing for forms. I was doing certain exercises, I was assisting, and then I started implementing my own, and I started creating exercise programs, and then eventually I was creating them and doing I was doing some clients here and there for each instructor. And then, as well as making my own Rock Steady Boxing classes, I created them myself and I've implemented them by myself. Basically, I just had a couple assistants to wipe down machines, because we do have different restrictions that are set in place. What went wrong with my internship? I don't think per se anything went wrong. I think I probably could have gained confidence or shown my confidence more in the beginning than I did. There were certain situations where I was questioned about certain exercises or certain muscle groups, and I got nervous and I didn't say it. I kind of had like a brain fart and I didn't have that set of mind. So I wasn't able to answer the question, but then I knew what it was. Like, thinking back, as well as when I was asked a question, I didn't per se say it right away. I kind of thought about it because I was doubtful that I was going to be wrong. But come to find out, I should have shown that confidence a long time ago, and I feel like it might have benefited me a little better. What is in the future? So in my future internship, so my next internship site in the spring, I plan on coming in with the confidence that I know and implementing the way I learned, as well as taking in the new information, because I am going to be at a different type of site with different types of people. So what I want to do in the future with my research project as well is start earlier, get on top of it, and understand the COVID restrictions that they're going to have in the spring. So I'm able to take that information and use it so I'm able to do my research project in the time that I need to do it. What would I do differently throughout the whole internship? I would say just have more confidence.